Everybody was teaching karate. Everybody was influenced by kung fu, but everybody was teaching karate. So I don't think I really had a particular art that I was in search of. I just wanted to practice martial art. I love my dad so much today, and he's still alive. And what I felt in my heart and my soul at that moment, I felt, oh man. And I swear to you not, and many people still don't believe this story, but it is in my book, The Complete Martial Artist. The first fight I had was with a guy who had no legs. I swear to God, he almost beat me. He was able to lift himself up and push off his hands and hit you with jump punches and all of this. At the end of the round, it was tied 5-5. I'm like, hold up, this is no joke. Now I gotta get serious. Well, I guess martial arts for me, once again, was that creative connection just to get through the darkness. And I don't think it was really any particular style. I mean, in those communities, I mean, there was more karate schools during those times than there was kung fu schools, because the guys coming home from, from the war, love Bruce Lee, and and in the kung fu movies, you've seen all the acrobats and all the flips. So that's where street gymnastics came into play. So just all those different levels of expression, from the music to the dancing, the clubbing, and the martial arts. It was just all a part of your upbringing. And during that time, remember, most people didn't understand the benefits of martial arts. So when you say, you go tell somebody, I'm gonna be a martial artist when I get big, they're like, shut up, dummy, you ain't gonna be, how you gonna make some money from that? You ain't gonna make no money from that, because nobody ever seen a way for you to make a comfortable living off of that. And let alone say, I'm gonna be in a movie, I'm gonna be in TV. Now you really like, shut up, that ain't gonna happen. But, for whatever reason, that ability to be able to express and hang out in movie theaters all day, go to McKim's Community Center and practice, or be in my room to practice, those things allowed me, in the magazines, because I think the one valuable thing about reading, and Karate Illustrated, which was the magazine at the time, that had all the national tournaments listed all over the world. And they had something called the top 10 ratings for region, and then they had the world-class ratings. So I already knew from the magazines who the world champions were. And back then, if you became a world champion, you got on the front cover of a karate magazine, be it Black Belt, Karate Illustrated, or Official Karate. And then guess what? Then you got a movie role. So by seeing these things, I began to study what the great people were doing. I remember making all those uniforms I got to give credit to Cynthia Rothrock. I remember every time a Cynthia Rothrock in the magazines would do something, she always had a different uniform. So I understood that the other arts that was really standing out and was winning at that time, it wasn't so much Kung Fu, it was this new art that was coming up called Wushu. It was like Jet Li, he was performing in the White House, and now this new art that had eliminated all the fighting, but now it had combined acrobats and Kung Fu flow and drunken and monkey styles together. It was like taking the world by storm. But for me as a kid, what did that do? That complemented everything I was doing in the city. I was flipping on the pissy mattresses. I was going to the dojo and practicing. And the thing about McKim's Community Center, what was so crazy about it, just imagine, it was like the world of mixed martial arts. In one area of the gym, you got guys practicing wrestling. In one area of the gym, you got guys practicing gymnastics. In another area of the gym, you got guys doing martial arts. In another area of the gym, you got guys doing basketball. So I had all these things going on, but Wushu allowed me to put them all together. Wushu put them all together, made them one. So when I started seeing that in the magazine, I went on a search. And I wanted to find, I knew the karate. I fell in love with the karate. Master Garcia Davis, Master Kenneth Parker, all those guys allowed me to be that good fighter. I could fight. Because that's what everybody was doing during those times. You had to be a good fighter. You had to be able to spar. You needed to do the full contact, do the point fighting, do the continuous freestyle fighting. But a lot of people weren't that good with katas, because a lot of the katas was being made up. But I was looking in those magazines, and I seen who the great kata people were. And the people I seen in that magazine, one guy that stood out most was named Dennis Brown. The other one that was on the front cover of every magazine name was Tayari Cassell. And it's funny, once I started going to tournaments and competing and making up katas and putting my little twist to it and doing sparring, I got a magazine that had Dennis Brown's Shaolin Wushu Academy in the magazine. Like everything, I would get those magazines, I would call it Japan, call it China, call all these places. My mom got a crazy phone bill, but I wanted something, man. I was dreaming. And this one magazine I picked up and I called the number. I was so nervous, man. I'm like, I hope I can get through to him. And I picked up the phone, and who picked up the phone? Dennis Brown. I said, hello? He said, Dennis Brown, Shaolin Wushu Academy, how may I help you? And I'm stuttering for my words. I said, I was called to speak to Dennis Brown. He said, hey, this is him, little brother. How can I help you? And I don't know, man, it just came out and said, sir, I just want to learn martial arts, and I live in Baltimore, and I don't have any money, but I do gymnastics, and I just want to figure out how I can learn martial arts and maybe share my gymnastics. And he said, well, I'm coming to a tournament in Baltimore in a couple of weeks. Why don't you meet me at the tournament? And, I caught the bus and I got to that tournament, and I remember I was doing my thing, and I seen him over there doing his thing because he was winning all the tournaments and had all his people, Shufu Irvin, Shufu Powell, Shufu Thurman, all those people. They was winning everything. They was killing everything. And when it was over, he came and he said, okay, let's go in the back room. And he took me in the back room, and I started doing all my gymnastics. And he looked at me and said, that's good, little bro. I'm going to call you next week. Can you be available? And I said, yes, sir. So he called me and he said, if you can get on the bus, I'll come and meet you at the bus station.